Good evening. Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome back to the Man Cave. It's that time of week once again. Uh, Jeff, good evening.
Eat.
Anya. All right. See, we got some of our regulars spilling in here already. Let me get over to the comments page where I can keep up with it. Yep, Mike, uh, Ryan, Anthony, two mics. Awesome. It's Thursday, and I'm happy about that because it's bourbon night. I'm very happy about that. I've had a rough week, Russ. Glad you could make it in here. I've been sick this week. I came down. I started coming down with a cold Saturday evening, and it was going pretty full bore by Monday, and I'm just now starting to shake it off. I've gotten a little pharmaceutical assistance from the teledoc, so I'm starting to be able to tolerate it now. It's Today was tolerable. I actually felt like cooking today, so I got the cooking done that I wanted to do for this live stream today. Fortunately, or I was worried about not being able to get that done, and I was excited because I had the rack of pork that Tanya picked up for me at Costco on Friday. I know some of you have seen that before. I know Jeff has. Yeah,
Yep.
Coastal. I'm feeling. I'm about 85%. I'm hoping tomorrow will level me up a little bit because I got to go back to work tomorrow night. So, uh, yeah, Anthony, I was no good Monday and Tuesday. It was horrible. I just felt Tanya can vouch for me. It was pretty bad. Oh man, but yeah, it's that time of week once again, and I'm ready to go. And once again, I appreciate those of you who have donated and chipped in a few bucks to help with the cost of the live stream here every week. It doesn't cost that much, but I do appreciate the assistance that you guys are they're helping me with donations. I put my PayPal and Venmo up here on the screen. If you'd like to contribute a few dollars towards the cost of this, that would be awesome. You don't have to, but it is appreciated. And if I should come up with any extra, it will be used for items that I might buy to review here and show you guys and talk about some cool toys here and there if the opportunity ever presents itself. So I will run this information once again a little bit later on as a scrolling banner across the bottom of the screen. Or if you have any questions about that, let me know. And in the meantime, I want to get the bourbon. I want to get a glass of bourbon. I think tonight I'm going to have a glass of this Knob Creek single barrel reserve. I haven't had this one out in a while, and it's a really good barrel proof Kentucky bourbon. Knob Creek is one that I like to recommend for starters, actually, because the everyday Knob Creek is 100 proof, and it's affordable. It's not a high price bourbon. It's like, well, I don't know what you call affordable when you're talking about bourbon. Jeff is. I think the regular Knob Creek's like $35 or
Yeah.
$36.
Not in that
Uh,
area. It's under 40.
the Yeah, the single barrel reserve is more, but it's when you get more into it, I don't recommend people starting out with single barrels or the barrel proof stuff anyways, but that or the Elijah Craig. The Elijah Craig small batch is another good starter. You having a drink with us tonight, Jeff?
Absolutely.
What are you having?
I'm having me some Chattanooga 91.
There you go. Tanya, you got the coffee running upstairs.
I do have the coffee.
Well, that's
Sure
awesome.
enough. As a matter of fact, I'm eyeballing a second cup.
A second cup. Well, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
One thing I like
Whew.
about the Knob Creek That Knob Creek is a lot like the Larceny in one way. The Larceny barrel proof doesn't hit you like a barrel proof. It'll surprise you, and you got to be careful with it because it will bite you if you're not paying attention. So, all right, where do we want to start, Tanya? We'll bring you back in here a little bit later. We'll get things kicked off here. Yeah, got me some cooking pictures here this week. So let me bring Jeff's pictures up here.
Well, since it's the week before Thanksgiving, I figured I would do the traditional Thanksgiving turkey. And my go-to is the AGC Ultimate Turkey Kit, which you see there. It's got the brine and the rub, and then I use the briner junior because I just like to do the turkey breast. So what I do is I use a half a cup of the brine, and I put that in a quart of water, put it on the stove, bring it to a boil, and let it simmer for a little bit so that everything comes to life. Then I pour that in the brine bucket uh, with 3/4 of a gallon of water and some ice cubes to cool it back down because you don't want to put your turkey in hot. And I let go ahead and go to the next picture, John. I think that'll be my maybe that's
Hang
my
on, I got a
turkey.
couple I got a question for you. First
Yep.
of all,
Yep.
did you just get the briner, or have you had that for a while?
Oh, I've had that.
You like it?
That briner bucket you're talking about?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I've had that for a couple of years now. I've got that size and then the one
the
larger
big
than
one.
that. Yeah, that
Yeah,
one's ideal for doing breasts and if you want to do your uh, pastrami and whatnot in a brine.
right. That small one. I
That's the ideal
agree.
size for all that. And it's
I've
got the
got both
insert to make
sizes.
sure that everything stays submerged.
Yep, I've got both sizes of that also, and I connected with the guy that makes those before I got connected with Kamado Joe,
Mhm.
and I've had those for quite a while, and they're amazing. They're
Well,
they're
that's
they're
one of the things
perfect.
that I would say add to your Christmas list because
Well, I
that
think you're
has a lot
probably
of good
right.
uses.
The small one here in Jeff's picture is small enough to fit in the average refrigerator somewhere
Yeah.
where you can keep it in a refrigerator. The other one's a larger, it's closer to a 5 gallon. So it's got to have either a dedicated refrigerator or a really big refrigerator to go in to keep your brine cold.
Anthony, I just use the bucket. I don't use a liner in it. It cleans up good. So anyway, I put my turkey in there and I let it go for 24 hours, and then I put it in a foil pan. And what I do is I put a metal skewer so it sits on the top of that foil pan, run it all the way through. That keeps that turkey breast nice and stable, so you don't have to worry about it flopping over, and then all of a sudden you got half a nice tan breast, and the other side is anemic looking. This
Right.
gets everything, in its proper perspective. So then I season it up with the Ultimate Turkey rub liberally. And I don't put any butter or any of that under the skin. Some people do. You can. It's optional. You're going to find that this brine keeps it plenty moist. The butter's not really needed. Okay. So then I go ahead and I preheat my bark to 400 degrees, and I let it heat soak for about 30 minutes. And then I'll put my turkey in after about 30 minutes, and I'll lower the temperature down to 350 or 375, depending on the size of the breast. And as you can see, it comes out really nice and tan. I do my turkey breasts until about 150-ish because at that temperature, it's going to carry over to about 157. So you're on the safe side of done.
Yep. I actually, when I cook whole turkeys, I like to cook up around 400 also. I typically yank mine when I get to about 142
Mm-hmm.
and let mine finish between 150 and 155. That one I can tell by looking at it that skin's got a nice bite to it.
It does.
that
Comes out
I
nice
can
and
just
crisp.
see it. I've seen enough of these to know that one's there.
And then you can see how nice it slices.
Yep, that skin looks
And
perfect. Oh yeah,
there it is. And I think the next picture you're going to see, if you look at that, look at all that juice on that plate. That shows you how moist that turkey is.
yep.
There is
I
not a
can
dry
also
piece of white meat on that turkey
I can
breast.
also see that you got about 3/8 of an inch deep with a smoke ring on that
Yep.
turkey. It's hard to see unless you can get real close, but I can see it on this cross section here how deep that went. That one got a good smoke ring.
Yeah.
That's
And
nice.
Anthony, no, I do not do any injecting. The brine is good enough. You're going to taste that brine, the flavor of those herbs throughout that turkey. It's fabulous flavor.
Anthony, I inject mine. That's one of the things I do differently from Jeff. Uh, I've gotten away from brining. I've gone the other route. Uh, Instead of brining, I only inject. So that's kind of a different approach that Jeff and I take. Not one's not right or wrong or
Yep.
better than the other. I like to inject seasoned butter in mine. So if I had if I was doing a turkey breast, Jeff, what was that thing? 8 pounds, maybe 9.
Yeah, right around 8, 9 pound turkey breast.
Okay, with that, I would have melted a half a pound of butter. I would have
Yep.
melted two sticks of butter in a small saucepan, and I would have sliced up 2 or 3 cloves of garlic. I would have put 10 or 12 black peppercorns in there.
It's a
Uh,
nice aromatic going.
I might have coarsely chopped a shallot to put in there, and maybe a couple sprigs of thyme, a couple sage leaves that were kind of crumbled, and maybe even some rosemary, and let that simmer in that butter for a half an hour. And then I would have strained off the solids and used my injector and injected that in there. So, and a lot of those things I just mentioned are already in that brine that Jeff
Yes,
used. There's a
that's what I
lot
was
of
just
those
getting ready to
flavors.
say.
Yeah, a lot of those flavors are already in that brine. But so let me pull this out of here. That's the or no, you got another picture here.
There, I got you know, that one should have been turned. Forgot to turn it. Sorry.
That's all right. That looks good
That,
to me.
that's Thanksgiving dinner. Got
Did you
everything you
make
need.
did you make your cranberry sauce?
My son makes the cranberry sauce. He
I
makes the
love homemade
Alton Brown's
cranberry. Yep.
cranberry sauce.
I've done video. I don't know. I don't remember which channel it's on. Uh, and it's probably on Atlanta Grill Company. And it may be on Kamado Joe also, and it may even be on Man Cave Meals. But my homemade cranberry sauce recipe and videos out there somewhere if you want to look at it. But it's real easy to make, and
Yep.
it blows anything you can buy in a jar or a can away. And it's not only good on turkey, guys. That cranberry sauce is just as good on this pork we're going to be looking at here in a little bit.
That's what I was
Cranberry
fixing to
sauce
say.
goes
That cranberry
perfect.
sauce on that pork loin would be great.
So
So anyway, that's
yeah,
your traditional Thanksgiving meal, and the Atlanta Grill Company Brine Time Ultimate Brine Kit. That's my go-to. Uh, it's never failed me. My turkey is always the star of the show.
yep. That I've used that kit several times myself. The one thing I like about that brine kit, it's different from a lot of the other ones that are out there. One of the major differences I've seen with the Atlanta Grill Company brine kit is that, and Greg, hold on to that question. We'll get that in just a second here. The the salt content on the Atlanta Grill Company's brine kit is set up in such a way that you're not going to oversalt
Yep.
your turkey during the brine. Uh, a lot of brines I see people turkey turkey brines are going to end up over salting the bird, because unless you're getting a fresh turkey that has not been processed with an injection, your bird's already got salt in it when you get it
Yeah.
from the grocery store. That solution that they inject in these things is a saline solution. I've tried to figure out how much and what percentage, but none of them are going to tell you that. None of them will tell you what their percentages are. But my bet is that it's about a 2% or 1.5 to 2% saline solution.
That's what I
So
would think.
if your brine is any stronger than that, you'll end up over salting that bird. And you can actually desalinate it by making a brine that's weaker than what's in there. So, but it's that particular kit from Atlanta Grill Company. If you follow the instructions on it, you will not uh, oversalt that bird. Okay, what was Greg? Greg had a question there about
About rinsing.
uh, rinsing after a commercial brine. I'm not. Are you talking about? Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't. It won't hurt to rinse it or
No.
not. Uh, the thing about brines is here's something you have to keep in mind with a brine. Those brines have a lot of flavor in them, and I would say don't rinse your bird after you brine. And the reason being is the only flavor from that brine that's going to get into the meat with any depth at all is the salt, because osmosis is going to work its way. Those other things that are dissolved in that water, if any of you have been through chemistry in high school or college, the molecule is too large to pass through the cell membranes, but the salt is not. The salt ionizes and becomes sodium and chloride ions in the water, and they'll pass through, but the other molecules are too large. Excuse me. But those flavors do collect on the outside, and they embed themselves in the skin where they stick with it. So if you rinse the bird, you might lose some of that. I don't know how much you might lose, but does that sound like a reasonable guesstimation, Jeff?
Yep, absolutely. I don't rinse mine. In the instructions on the brine kit, it tells you to pat your bird dry. I don't. I
So
just I just put it over there and season it and call it a day.
right. The one of the things I do as well is I don't necessarily pat mine dry, but I smear a very thin layer of oil on the outside of mine before I season it. It kind of works two things. It displaces a little bit of moisture, but it also creates a minor binder there for any extra seasoning you want to put on it.
Well, next time you
So,
do that, John, try Duke's mayonnaise instead.
well, I use mayonnaise on my pork butts.
Try Duke mayonnaise instead.
I haven't done it on a turkey,
I haven't either.
but then
I think it would
again,
be good
you
though.
might never see me cook another whole turkey. You just might not. So Honorog's with us. Yeah, he said he's coming back to Georgia tonight for the holidays. So that's good. Uh, let's see. Let me bring my pictures up here. Have any of you guys ever tried this stuff?
Stuff's good.
Uh, I've been seeing it around for a long time, and I've never bothered to try it. But a friend of mine got some recently, and he said you need to give it a try. Sorry, guys, I'm still getting a little bit of this cough going on here. I think the bourbon may be aggravating it just a little bit, but
Loosening it all up, John.
yeah, we'll see what happens. The I decided to give this a try, and I can't remember to save my life what I paid for this. If it was either $5.99 or $6.99 at the grocery store for this tub of rendered bacon fat, and I wanted to try it. I guess the first thing I did with it was I made a grilled cheese sandwich, and I put a little bit of that down on the griddle, and I'll have to say that was pretty good. And It
Mhm.
did great. It did great to make a grilled cheese sandwich with that. But I'm going to try it with some other things on the griddle, and I don't know what. And later on, whenever I get around to cooking another larger batch of bacon, I'm going to show you how to make your own version of what's in that tub. I'm going to show you a way to collect your bacon renderings and clean it up and make it shelf stable, just like this. That's something else on that package with that bacon up. Uh, I guess it's on the back side that I didn't take the picture of. It says that it's shelf stable, which means you don't have to put that in the refrigerator. I went ahead and put mine in the refrigerator after I opened it, but it's kind of like beef tallow. Uh, once it's or kind of like beef tallow or
Or ghee.
ghee. Yeah, there's nothing really in there that's going to spoil. And
No, because they got all the solids out of it. It's
right.
just the fat.
And
So
when you buy lard at the grocery store, it's shelf stable also. It's not in the cooler. So yeah, but I made a really good grilled cheese with it. So next time I use it, I'll try to remember to tell you. If any of you guys tried this stuff before,
yep.
I've been wanting to try it for quite a while, and I've never bothered to buy any. And Tanya picked this up at Costco. It's a three bottle set of this, and I think she got this for less than $10. And these bottles are usually like $8.99 or $9.99 a piece in the grocery stores.
Yeah, you're just
I'm
missing the
never
red label. That's all.
missing the red label.
Yep.
What do you mean?
There's a red label of Japanese barbecue sauce. So
Oh, I think there's more than that.
you got the hot and spicy and yazoo and the miso, but there's
I think
a
there's more than four of them.
yeah, there might be. I mean,
I don't know.
I've only seen four, but let's look. Let's find out.
I don't know how many there are. I was thinking there were more than that, but I'm definitely looking. I haven't opened these yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to trying it. Tom says he uses it on Brussels sprouts. Yeah, Tom, I thought about you today. I tagged you in a Facebook post. Oh boy, Tom and I have a running joke about Krispy Kreme donuts because I did a I did a video on the Kamado Joe channel one time. It was I made bread pudding and I used Krispy Kreme donuts, and I think I offended Bobby Brennan. He didn't like me using Krispy Kreme donuts as an ingredient, and he
That
fussed at me for it. And Tom and I have had a running joke about that. Every time we see Krispy Kreme donuts, we talk about that. And I saw another recipe that had used Krispy Kremes today, and I tagged Tom in that post. So, all right,
there's six bottles to be exact, John.
six of them. Okay.
Yep.
Well, anyway, let's get on to the fun stuff. This is that rack of pork. This is and the only place I know to get these is Costco. I've never seen these packaged this way anywhere else. Now, if you have access to a butcher who can make custom cuts of meat for you, you can get this. You just basically have to tell them that you want the pork version of a standing rib roast, because that's what this is. I can't think of any other way to describe it. It's the this is an 8 bone rack, and this is in a cryovac, and it's $3 a pound. It's really hard to beat that. And Jeff, I don't think this has gone up since the very first one of these I
No,
ever bought. They
no,
every
that price has been stable.
they've been $3 a pound. So, and also before I go any further, I want to tell you to do what I've done with this today. You don't have to have the rack of pork. You can do this with a pork loin. You know, you can buy a pork loin, a whole one, a half a pork loin, or a pork loin segment, and do exactly what I've done here with a pork loin, and it'll be really good. So, pork loin, the regular pork loin, I can get all day long for $2 a pound. So I'm paying $1 a pound extra for the bones, I guess.
But you
So
get a little bit of rib meat in there too, John. So
right, you do, but that I just made that close up of the label here to show what I paid for that. It's $20, and this is an 8 bone rack, and this is going to feed 8 people a very healthy, or let's not call it healthy. I mean, it's healthier than some things, but a very hefty piece of meat for 8 people. So there's what the backside of it looks like. This meat had good marbling in it. It really did. So I unpackage mine and I just towel mine dry with paper towels. But one of the things I like to do is I like to spend just a few minutes cleaning the meat up on these bones and making it look a little more Frenched. And I didn't spend as much time on it as I should have, but you can see here that there's rib meat still attached to these bones all the way out to the ends. So I just like to take my boning knife and try to clean some of that up and give it a little bit more of a Frenched appearance.
See, that looks like my boning knife, John.
Well, yeah, this is my Victorinox.
That's what I got. That's a great boning knife.
I love it. I've got 2 of them. I've got 2 different versions of that same knife. One of them is a little more flexible than the other one. But these, you can tell I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. You can spend as much or as little time as you want cleaning that up to make it look nice. But for what I was doing, I wasn't very concerned about it. I just wanted to get enough off of it where it looked like it was French instead of just looked like a bone-in pork chop when I was done. The next thing I do is I tie it up with butcher's twine because this, like a pork loin, will flatten out and get kind of oval shaped. And I like to tie it up where it holds a rounder shape in the loin throughout the cook. So I put a nice tight tie on there at those pretty much 2 bone intervals there, but I put four ties across that. And then I put it on a rack in a pan, and I went ahead and salted this meat last night. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see in the picture, but this meat's salted, and I put that in the refrigerator and let it kind of dry brine in the refrigerator overnight. So this morning, I got up and I had a couple other things going on, and I was jockeying back and forth between a bread project I was doing and this. So I fired up the Huntsman. I put a nice, fairly decent sized pile of hardwood lump charcoal on one side there and got it lit up. And I decided to set up like this for indirect cooking today, where I've got just charcoal on the right and I only put half of the grill grate in on the left, which is plenty enough for this. They have their indirect cooking kit called the Next Level cooking kit coming out, and I've been told that they're shipping now. So hopefully I'll have that before long, where I can have a heat deflector and have a setup here that's more similar to a Kamado setup. So I let that get going, and I fired up the Spider and told it I wanted to cook at 375. So I let it come up to temperature while I was doing some other things. And when it came up to temp, I went and got the pork loin, or the rack of pork, out of the refrigerator, and I added some barbecue rub to it. I didn't put a heavy load of barbecue rub on it because I had already put salt on it. So I just put a fairly light coat of some of my homemade barbecue rub on there. And then we set it on the indirect side of this grill. And I put my temperature probe in there where I could watch it. Because like I said, I want to pull this thing off when it hits 135 in the middle, because I want it to finish between 140 and 145. So we
did you use any smoking wood with that, John?
I did. I think I got a picture here, right here.
Okay.
I tossed on a couple chunks of hickory for this. I didn't add a lot. I didn't want to put a lot of smoke on it because this is enough hickory right here for this whole cook. So I closed it up and let it cook. And at this point, I decided to come back out and have a look. My internal temperature for what you see right here is about 50 degrees Fahrenheit, because when I started out, it was like at 33 degrees in the middle, and this is at about the 50-degree point. It's what it looked like. And I'm cooking at 375 still. And that's just another view from at the same time point. It's 50 degrees in the middle, but you can see that it's taking smoke. It's taking color. And at this point, my internal temperature is up to about 80 or 85 degrees. But I went ahead and put some foil over the bones because the bones were getting dark. And that's something you have to watch out for here. If you want to keep the bones from getting too dark, whenever they look good, just wrap a little foil over the top of them and they'll be good. So, like I said, we're at about the 80-degree point here, maybe. And here we are at about 105 or 110 degrees internally. So I took the foil back off, and I decided I was going to let it go just a little bit longer. I let it go up to 115. And at 115, I put some of my homemade barbecue sauce on the outside. I just drizzled some on there and smeared it all over top and bottom with a basting brush, because it's only going to be going for another 20 degrees here, and that'll give that enough time for that sauce to tack up. And there's just another view at that same time point. And here we are when it's done. At this point, I had hit 135, so you can see that sauce tacked up pretty well on there. So at this point,
Beautiful.
At that point, I took it off the grill. I put it back on a pan and I wrapped it in aluminum foil and I let it rest for a half an hour. And then I cut this guy open. That's just the cut right down the middle. So you can kind of see. It's kind of hard to see here how juicy that is, but this picture, I think, maybe show it a little better where after I sliced them up into individual pieces.
Oh, you can see the juice on the cutting board, John.
Yeah, it's
just running.
Right. This is the way I like to cook mine. I don't have a problem personally with pork loin that's finished at 135. At 135, it's still a little pink in the middle, but I've got to get past the pink point before Tanya will eat this. So, and I've discovered through trial and error that that's at about 140 degrees. If I can get to 140, anything past 140, all the pink's gone. So that's what I shoot for, because that's also the juiciest and most tender point for this these chops. There's one where you can kind of see how moist that is. It's just,
it's a beautiful cut of meat right there, John.
Yeah,
cooked perfectly.
This is delicious. This was absolutely delicious. I ate half of one of these when this was done, and I took the rest of these and I packaged them in vacuum seal bags. And these are quick reheats in a sous vide bath at 140 degrees. I'll go straight from the freezer to 140 degree sous vide bath for about 45 minutes, and they're ready to serve again. So that's what I did today. I did for this week's Cook on Live. So you can kind of see these bones maybe did get a little bit darker than I would ultimately have liked for them to. A lot of people will wrap their bones up from the beginning where they kind of keep that white color and they don't turn brown. I typically don't, but that's where that ends up. So what I've done these racks of pork a lot of different ways. I've done it with my cinnamon and molasses brine, which is also good. I've done it just like you see here, just with a basic seasoning. I have done that on the rotisserie. I'm going to get another one, and I'm going to do a rotisserie whenever I get the rotisserie for the Huntsman. and I probably will make a video out of that one. I'll do a video. The rotisserie for the Huntsman's coming, but it's not expected to be here. So I don't know if I'll see it before the end of the year or not. I may, or it may be the first of the year. They're supposed to ship in December at some point, but I don't know for sure. But I'm really enjoying the Huntsman so far. This grill has proven to be a formidable addition to my patio out here. I'd like to see some improvements in the app, but the
I think
app
we will in time.
the app doesn't bother me so bad because once again I don't care enough about the app to really comment on it, but I need to give it a fair shake. I need to know what it can and can't do. And once I know what it can and can't do, you probably won't see me use it again. I don't use the apps with my pellet smokers or any of the only time I use an app is if I'm running the fireboard on my Kamado Joe. I'm more likely to use the app for that. But once again, I can do without it. Uh, I guess it's just I don't know. The Huntsman's got one thing I'm trying to get used to: the pause function, Jeff. when I'm running the Kamado Joe with the fireboard, when I go open the lid on the Kamado Joe, the fireboard understands that I've opened the lid and it shuts the fan off. I've got to remember to do that manually with the
Mhm.
Huntsman, and that's not a big deal. There, you can do it from the app. There's a pause button in the app, or you can long hold one of the buttons on the controller itself to pause the fan.
You know,
And
John, no, I haven't used the pause function and everything's been fine. It spikes up a little bit, but it comes right back down. I
yeah,
mean, in no
I
time
used it
flat. It's just,
today. I
it's
I
it's
used
not a
it
big
today
deal.
when I was foiling those bones because I had the lid open for 2 or 3 minutes, and I wanted to go ahead and shut the fan down while I was doing that. And then you have to remember to turn it back on too because it won't come back on automatically. But
Well, that's one of the things I think you're going to see as an addition to the app is I think they're going to do an auto start on it after probably 2 minutes.
well, that was one of the suggestions I made to Joseph recently. As I said, that pause. It would be nice if there was a button on the app that you get a 60 second or a 90 second or even a 2 minute pause
Hmm.
where you would choose that function and it'll start the fan back for you automatically. I
So I
think
think the
that would
two
be
minute pause is probably the best, and the only reason why I say that is even if you have the lid open for only a minute and then you close the lid, that gives another minute for it to kind of restabilize, and then
yeah.
the app can decide, do I really need the fan or do I not need the fan, rather than it coming on prematurely and then you get that
Well,
little spike and then it comes back down.
I would like to see the same functionality added to the control unit, us with a button press combination somehow or
Mhm.
some way. I know each of those buttons has a function for a one tap and for a
Mhm.
long tap,
Yep.
and some of them may have a double tap. And I don't know if all of them are in use or not, but I would love to see that a 2 minute pause added as a double tap feature on one of the buttons because, like I said, I'm most likely to use a button. I'm not. It's for me. It's quicker to press a button on the unit than
Hmm.
it is to get my phone out,
Go
get
to
the
go
app
to the
open, and
apps.
go to the
Yep.
screen. Yeah, I could be done with it already if I'm just tapping a button because that's something I don't need to do until I'm standing in front of the grill.
Right. And
And
usually you're waiting for the app to update because
right,
it's been put to
yeah,
sleep. So
and
boom,
and
boom,
I'm
and it's
that
done.
I'm having some issues on the Android side. I'm having a lot of times when I come back to that after the phone's been asleep, the app won't refresh, and I have to stop the app and start it back again, which adds time to that process as well. So
Mhm.
anything that I can do from the controller, I'd rather do it from the controller, and
Yep.
that's just how I like to work. And I know a lot of people don't prefer that, which is fine, but I'm not saving. I don't see myself saving time and creating efficiency with the app. And I've heard all the reasons why we need the app. I've listened.
Yep.
Jeff, this has been a debate that that we've been involved in for years now. You
And we'll
know,
be involved in it for years to
yeah.
come. But
Well, no, I'm trying to figure out what the next evolution of this is going to be. Uh,
AI,
well, I don't know that AI. It may be, but
John, when I can go into AI and I can type in a paragraph that tells it to go out and create a Python application, and I tell it what
Tanya's
fields
doing
I
this
want,
sort of thing already.
and
Tanya's
everything
Tanya's
else,
way
and
ahead of me.
2 minutes later, I have a complete workable app, and I didn't
Yeah.
have to do any programming.
Well,
Yeah, it'll do it.
Tanya's doing some amazing things with Chat GPT.
Hmm.
She's a subscriber to their full service, and she's using it in her classroom. She's using it to create PowerPoint presentations. She can give it a
Okay.
document, and it'll generate a PowerPoint presentation
Yep.
from the document, and it's doing. She's doing some amazing stuff with it, but I don't know how. I'm trying to understand how that's going to integrate with a grill or a barbecue.
I think it's going to integrate just fine. It's going to know if this occurs, do this. If that occurs, do that.
Yeah, but
It's
that all that stuff can already be done without AI. I
Yep.
haven't seen where AI is gonna where it's gonna make a decision or gonna need to be able to make an autonomous decision that that code
Trust me,
couldn't already
it'll
handle.
it'll happen.
Yeah,
AI is,
I'm sure it will.
and AI. The bad thing about it is we can discuss AI till the cows come home. AI is a good thing, and AI is a terrible thing in the wrong hands.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Greg's got another question there. Pellet opinions on pellet or Kamado for turkey. Well, I definitely have my opinion on that. So, Jeff, you want to take it first?
I've had excellent results with both, so I mean, it's your grill of choice, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's a good answer. It
I
could be
mean, I
it's a preference for sure. But for
I can't say
poultry
that
in
I've had
general,
results that have swayed one way or another using a pellet grill or the Kamado. And you
I,
all know
I
I've got
have.
I've got both.
Yeah, I
And
prefer the pellet grill for poultry for all poultry.
well, that's where I was going to lead into. Poultry is one of those items where less is better, and you're definitely ensured of getting less smoke using a pellet as opposed to a Kamado. I mean, you can throw in too many chunks
Well,
of wood or too big a chunk of wood, and you can over smoke your poultry.
your your pellet smoker on its own is not going to oversmoke your turkey or your chicken. It just won't
Nope.
do it unless you've got one of these camp chefs like I had with the smoker box. You can oversmoke a chicken or a turkey with that by
Yeah.
feeding it too much chunk smoke. But other than that, you're not going to oversmoke any poultry on a pellet grill. The other reason I like a pellet grill for poultry is it's a forced air convection environment. There's a lot more air moving through there. It's not retaining moisture the same way a Kamado does. And the skin results for me have always
Crispier.
been better in a pellet smoker than they have been on the Kamado. So that's just my opinion. I like cooking poultry on the pellet grill far better.
I mean,
And yeah,
I will agree with you. That is the one point of cooking on either. You're definitely going to get a crispier skin, in my opinion, on the pellet because you don't have
uh,
that moist heat.
but that's not to say you need to have a pellet grill to cook good
No.
poultry, because I've cooked great. You have to learn to get the best out of what you've got. You can get this out of you can get the same results out of a Kamado. You just need to
Yep.
modify the way you use it a little bit. A Kamado is super efficient, but you can make it not efficient. How do you make a Kamado not efficient? You put less fuel in it. You set up something where you might have to add fuel in the cook where you got more airflow. Kamados, when you got a lot of fuel in a Kamado, you don't have much airflow because that top vent, you've only barely got it cracked open. There's not a lot of air moving through that Kamado. But if you've only got a little bit of fuel in there, you got to have a lot more air coming through to get the temperatures you're looking for. So you can set yourself up a way where you can cook poultry like on one half of it. This might be harder to do with a turkey. It's easy to do with the rotisserie because, like I've done, I don't know how many times I've cooked chickens and turkeys both with the lid open on the Kamado. Never close the lid on it, and you can get awesome results on chicken and turkey on the rotisserie by cooking with the lid open. A lot of people struggle with that idea because if you can get past the fact that you don't have to know what the temperature is to get it to cook, it'll cook you some amazing chicken and turkey with the lid open. So, yeah, Dennis says higher temps for the skin. I agree with that, and I think
Definitely.
that little smear of oil helps with that as well. And another thing that you'll find hard to swallow unless you actually do it is less smoke wood. The smoke
Okay.
that collects on the outside of poultry skin, that inhibits that skin from crisping up. If you can get away from using a lot of smoking wood, you'll get crispier skin on your poultry as well.
And just as a off the thing, another public service thing, Publix has the standing rib roast. They're $9.99 a pound right now, which isn't the best of price, but it's there.
It has the what for $9.99?
Standing rib roast.
Yeah. Well, I
It
don't
was
know that.
it was $6.99 at Christmas.
Did it come to $6.99? Because I
Yeah,
thought that they didn't come to $6.99 last
I
Christmas.
thought it was
Because I didn't buy
$6.99 at
one because of that.
Christmas. Anyway, it's higher than it was at Christmas. You can
Yeah.
get $6.99, $7.99.
Okay.
It's $9.99, and I don't see that
Well,
being.
I'll have a look at that because I want to cook one because my mom loves the prime rib, and uh, we'll get. I'll check into that because typically they have it between now. I don't know if they'll have it all the way through Christmas, but I could have sworn
No,
that last Christmas they
it'll
didn't
come
come
off
down.
here after this week, and then it'll come back on 2 weeks before Christmas,
I
which
could have
hopefully will
sworn
be
that
back down
last
to
year they
six or
didn't
seven
come
ninety nine.
down. Yeah. Last year the one I bought the one at Aldi. Aldi had one for
Yeah.
$6.99, because I think in Publix didn't, but I'll check.
How was that one at Aldi? Because wasn't that Black Angus?
Uh, no, I don't think it was Black Angus, but I think if I remember correctly, I wasn't as impressed with the Aldi one as I've been with others. But it's not that I wouldn't try it again. At that price, I would try it again. But um,
Oh, I had
let's
that
see.
one bad one from Publix that it was just tough.
This butcher that's a couple blocks up from me, I wanted to get one from them last year, and I kind of got irritated with them. I went up there, and first of all, I had to get on a waiting list to get one because they weren't going to put them in their case. It's like they didn't think people wanted to buy standing rib roast at Christmas. They're more interested in selling steaks than they are roasts. So I had to get on the list, and it was going to be $25 a pound. And so I was about to commit to a 5 pound one, and then I just decided no. I said, and I was trying to do this because I was trying to pump them up. I was tagging them on their meat that I was cooking, and I said I'm not going to pay $125 for a roast, and people see that and then not be able to walk in there and buy one out of the case. So I just decided
that's 5 pound is only what, three bone?
2 or 3 at best.
Yeah.
That's not a very big one, but at $25 a pound, I'm not willing to spend that to help somebody else promote their stuff. I'm not going to pay. I don't think I've ever paid that for for prime rib.
I got this new butcher shop that just opened up around the corner from me. I need to go and pay them a visit and see what kind of
Yeah,
meat they have.
salmon. Yeah, Anthony, I like salmon. I've never bought any from Aldi. I don't typically like shopping at Aldi, and I've been through that whole reason why before. But uh, if they have something that I can't get somewhere else, I might shop there. But I don't know. It's just
Tell you what, I like a lot of their products. Their produce is pretty good. Like I can get the cauliflower for half of what Publix has, and
yeah,
it's a giant head of cauliflower for half the
right.
price of Publix.
Well, Publix is not cheap on any of their produce. That's a fact. I get, uh, I don't know, Publix.
All their cheese is good, and they have some, uh, for lack of a better word, exotic cheeses.
Yeah,
You know, not American cheddar, Swiss, provolone. You know,
right. So, Tanya, do we have any questions that I need to look at? Are we good?
No, I think you got them.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or anything you want
well,
to
let's
hit
bring
on?
up something here. Last week, you asked people to throw out ideas for things to add to the Christmas list.
Mhm.
Did anybody come up with anything?
I don't know. No, Anthony, I'm not. It didn't take me long to get put out with doing the newspaper thing. I enjoyed doing it, but that newspaper, I got, I took personal issue with some of the stuff they were doing as a media outlet, and I just decided that I wasn't going to be a part of it. And they really hammered my little town that I live in here. The papers in the next town over, and they uh, they really were. I don't know, Tanya. Hold me back.
Well, it just got really bad. I mean, granted, the newly elected town council did not comport themselves with perhaps the best behavior,
No,
but
no,
the newspaper really went after them for
Well,
it.
I call the Orlando Sentinel the Orlando Slantinel.
yeah.
So,
Well, I just I have I'm I don't like to talk about politics, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to
That's
not
where
get
I
into
stopped
it.
at. The Orlando Slantinel.
Yeah, I'm very opinionated on a lot of things, and nothing ever good comes from discussing politics. That's the best
Politics or
advice I've
religion,
got
two
for
things
you.
to stay away
Yeah,
from.
well, here's something I think we can all agree on: smoked lasagna. Hell yeah, let's vote for
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
Greg,
definitely would.
I've got lasagna, something that I like doing for either Thanksgiving or Christmas, and we did it. We did it for did we do it Christmas last year, Tanya, or Thanksgiving?
Oh
We did
Lord,
it
I
one
don't
of the
remember
meals last
which.
year.
Thought it was
That was last
Thanksgiving you did it.
year.
Well, that was 12 months ago, John.
I don't
Seriously,
know.
if you want me to remember something, it need to have happened this semester.
Yeah,
Or
And
write it down.
closer towards the end of the semester, it need to have happened that week or maybe even that day. The closer I get to the end. So I'll
And
be
Tanya,
honest with you.
that gets worse as we get older.
yeah.
Trust me.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm kind of at the point of going, oh my gosh, I don't think there's anything left to lose up here.
Yeah, there
Um,
is.
I'll be that honest.
Why do you think I'm like this now?
So, my brain just is not what it used to be, and it makes me really, really sad.
We got to keep
Because
her brain going. She's the
huh?
smart half of this family.
What? Me? I'm
Yeah,
the
we got to keep
blonde.
Tanya's brain going.
Blonde. But
Yeah,
you're a
that's what I'm
smart
telling
blonde.
people.
Yeah,
I'm the blonde. Well, some people
and
would say that's an oxymoron, and some people say I've been
well,
pulling off artificial intelligence for years.
well, we're not going to have a live stream next Thursday. I'm going to work. I've volunteered to work a second shift on Thanksgiving Day, and I won't even be here Thursday night, so we're not going to have a live stream next week. We'll come back the first Thursday of December, and Jeff, let's do something heads up again on the 1st of December. What do you want? What should we do? And that'll give us
Uh,
2 weeks to get it done.
Hang on, let me look at the date here because I think okay, the first Thursday of December is the
Would be
5th.
the 5th. Yeah.
I'm going to have the smoker full of stuff for Subaru, so I'll be having pork butts and turkeys and whatnot on.
Well, we won't do a heads up then. We'll just do a free for all. Bring what you got 2 weeks from now, and I'll do the same thing. And
I say it'll be another turkey and it's our typical way of doing
yeah,
pork butts, 200 degrees
okay,
overnight.
that sounds like a plan. I will. Tanya and I are taking a little vacation in December, but I don't think it's going to interfere with live stream. When I get back, I don't know if I'll have anything. I might have to do something and save it for that one because we're going to be going up to Ohio. Chris, I'm having Knob Creek Single Barrel Reserve tonight. Weller's is good. I've got a little Weller's up there that you can't see it behind me at the moment. It's up there somewhere. Some of the 107, the antique. Yeah.
How do you like that Willer Antique 107? I liked it. I thought it was
It's
really
all
good.
right. It's all right. I won't buy it again. I don't have to worry about it because it's never available for purchase here. Only reason I have that is because I was able to get it through a lottery, and you'll never find Weller of any variety on the shelves around here anywhere. It's all
Well, I
from
think when my 2 bottles of Eagle Rare are gone,
yeah.
I'll probably be strictly a Heaven Hill.
Heaven Hill is right there behind my ear.
Yeah,
I can buy that
I just
all
like
day,
that.
every day. Yep, that's my
I just
new
like that.
favorite. Yeah, I need to get some more because that bottle's about half empty. Four
And not
Roses
only
is
is it
pretty
a
popular.
good bourbon, it's a reasonable bourbon price.
Yeah. Well, it costs more than the Eagle Rare. That's a $50 bottle for me.
Well, it's not that down here. It's
The Heaven
$39 down here.
the Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
I can't get it for $39. It's $50 here. I'll look.
Matter of fact, it's cheaper than Eagle Rare here.
I'll double check.
Oh,
But
let's
Ooh,
see.
tamales. I love
Seriously,
tamales.
yeah, I had to post that. I was like, hot damn.
God damn.
tamales. All right, Russ. Tell me again. What cities are these in? Liquor City, Uncorked, and Covington, Newport. We're going to be going up. We're going from where I live here to Columbus. So I'm going to be going up 77 and some other Highway 35. I don't remember what the numbers are. I looked at the route, but what state are those in Ohio or are they in West Virginia, Russ?
Okay, I know that road. Good one, Russ. There we go.
Those are off of 71, 75. I won't be going through Kentucky.
No, it's too far over.
Yeah, that's out of the way. And plus, I know that route, that 75. I'd have to go over to Knoxville and get 75 and go north, but getting to Knoxville from here right now is a problem.
Big problem.
Yeah,
a lot of back roads.
Interstate 40 is closed going into Tennessee from North Carolina, and you got to go a long way around to get there. So, yeah, I won't be into Kentucky at all on this trip, as far as I know. I don't think I'll be on 64 either. If I remember correctly, 64 isn't that the one that runs between Lexington and Louisville?
Lord, I don't know.
No, 64. Yeah, and then it would be 65 that goes north out of Louisville up through it. 65 is the one that we took, Tanya, when we went up to Chicago. That's the one where you got soybeans and corn. Yeah.
Wait, we got some delicious tacos. Ooh. So note that down, John.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I haven't looked fully at my route yet. I think it was going to be 8 hours from where we are, 7 to 8 hours. So,
Well, I'm going to the mountains this weekend,
are you?
or I should say next week. Yeah, I'm going up there for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Coming back Sunday, that's going to be hairy, but
Well,
I'm going to leave it dark 30. Dark 30.
Well, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me. We'll be back 2 weeks from now. So we, like I said, we won't be here next week. So everybody have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll catch you next time around.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.